few months ago, I developed a 5-star rating system that I think we can all use to keep track of how we're doing in our lives. The foundation is our financial security. Do we have a roof over our heads? Then we have the 3 pillars, which are our health, our relationships, and our work. And then finally, the spice of life, which is what gives our life meaning and purpose. When we start thinking about introducing change, or change happens to us, we can keep an eye on those 5 areas to decide, how am I doing? Where do I need to invest my attention? What's going okay? And I can afford to maybe refocus my attentions and my priorities somewhere else that needs it right now. Lately, it's felt like all of those are spinning for me. And so I started thinking about, what advice would I give someone else if they found that their health, their relationships, their homes, and maybe even their foundation was in a shaky state. If they had plates spinning all over the place, how do you move forward when it feels like everything's outside of your control? The first is having something that you feel like you can control. And I think that's where the spice comes in. In my case, I love to write. In the last few weeks, I haven't been writing. And so as things have gone into motion in my health and my relationships and in my work, if I don't have something that I'm controlling, that I'm investing in for my benefit, something that brings me joy and I tie my sense of value and purpose to it, then I'm leaving myself open to feeling a lack of control in all areas of my life. So finding one thing that we can have as our constant that we can come back to say, I can control this one thing. This is one thing that really I can have to anchor myself when everything else is going sideways. So assuming that we have that, then we start looking at what's going wonky and have to decide what needs my attention right now. There's some things that are going to be time sensitive, they're urgent, and they have to be dealt with. Then those are the things that we do. If there's something else that is an unknown, it's going to happen in the future, we may want to stress about it or have anxiety, but if there's nothing that we can do about it right now, then maybe we put it on the shelf. We don't stuff it down, but we put it over here and we focus in on the things that we can control, the things that we can take action on. I'll give a couple of examples. I made some decisions around my son's schooling and decided to make a change. And I had a list of actions that I had to take. But I made that decision based on my current situation with my health, my work, my foundation, my financial situation. Within 18 hours, I found out that I had a new manager. Well, that was scary because I had made the decision based on an assumption that I had a known leader and I knew what flexibility looked like, and I knew I could handle the situation with my son's school and putting a change into effect there and still manage some things that were going on with my health. Suddenly, I wasn't so sure. So it felt like all 3 things were put in motion: my relationship with my son, my health that had been in motion for a while, and now suddenly my work was in motion. So what I did is I thought about, well, from a health perspective, what can I do right now? I have a doctor's appointment that's coming up soon, a procedure coming up soon. There's not really anything that I can do for that. There's nothing I can do to prepare. There's nothing I can do to control that. And so that has to go on the shelf. It's in the future. I can't worry about that. I can't act on it today. The next is I have a new manager. I don't know him very well. It's going to take time for me to know who he is and for us to establish a routine. Again, not something that I can act upon right now. If I'm worried about it, then I'm taking away energy from the things that I can affect, and I'm taking away from my joy in just my present. And so what I really needed to focus on was, what are the steps that I need to do for my son's school to get him set up and get him into a new routine? And then that gives some space for me to get to know my new manager, and how can I set up a new routine with my work that works for both sides of that relationship. And then finally, within the next few weeks, I'll have my doctor's appointment, I'll have my procedure, and I'll know more about any next steps that I have to do with my health. So just to recap, when we have our 5 stars, our 5 areas of focus in our lives, and we start finding that many of them are going into motion at the same time, anchor yourself in one thing that you can control. One thing, maybe it brings you joy. It's something that is about your life purpose. I really do recommend looking at the spice of your life. What are those things that really bring meaning? And can you spend a little bit of time that you can control each day so that you have that anchor when everything else feels like it's spinning? Then take a look and see, what are the things that need to be dealt with right now? What are the things that are urgent? What are the things that are in the present? What are the things that you can control and affect? And if it's something that has a future date on it, then do your best to put that on the shelf. not, spend a lot of time worrying about it and having a lot of anxiety about things that you can't manage right now, so that you can stay focused in what you can affect, stay focused in the now, and still find opportunities to find your joy, find those opportunities to invest in areas that matter to you, because it'll make the things that are feeling like they're spinning and out of control a little bit easier to manage day to day. Good luck.